everybody, welcome to the United Stand as Manchester United lead the race for an Argentinian wonder kid. We'll be talking about Aaron Anselmino. Also, Manchester United are doing other things, which I've completely forgotten. Yes, the disrespect on Erik ten Hag continues. I'll be giving you my thoughts on this latest Premier League manager connection. We're also going to be talking about Ivan Toney, responding to what Beth said this morning. Don't think I haven't seen about that. A new deal coming in for Kobbie Mainoo. We'll be talking about two other centre-backs that United are looking at. This is coming in the last hour or so. And also, there could be a little bit of a shock around Manchester United's physical department, Physio, sports science, whatever you want to call it. We might be about to scoop somebody up from another big club. We'll talk about that as well. And of course, the biggest news today. There's no news bigger than this. Goldbridge's Man United career mode is back at 2:45, more or less straight after this stream. So get ready for that. We rock in season 4. I'm going to finally win the league. I'm convinced about it. It's the Premier League project. But look, back to reality. Hope you're all doing well. Smash a like on the video. Get involved in the comments. We're going to start off talking about this developing story coming out of Argentina. Now, look, if you don't know who Aaron Anselmino is, I think he's currently 18. Boca Juniors centre-back. Now, look, I'm not going to say I've watched him play. I'm not. But what I have done is spoken to a few people who know about this player. One's a journalist. One is somebody who actually watches that style of that country's football. And I've asked them basically what he's all about. Give me 3 big takeaways. The 3 big takeaways about him is he is another projected wonder kid coming out of South American football. The interest is there from AC Milan, Real Madrid, Manchester United, and also Everton are interested as well. Very good in a one-on-one situation, very good in the air. Very quick, both-footed, and is press-resistant, likes to play out from the back, likes to play a high line. So tick, 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 tick. He's got the lot. I think he's predominantly right-footed, but apparently he can play left-footed as well. Really interesting profile of player for Manchester United to go and have a look at. And I think it's somebody that... I think what this does is it ticks 2 boxes. And the story coming out of... Sorry, I should have told you what the story coming out of Argentina is. So the story coming out of Argentina is this. Manchester United and AC Milan have both made advances in the last few hours to try and sign Boca Juniors centre-back Aaron Anselmino. It's possible that both sides make a concrete offer soon. This is coming in from Diario Ole, which is an Argentinian outlet with 4 million followers. So, look, we'll have to see how that develops. I'll be honest, a couple of days ago, there was talk that this was going to be a deal that Real Madrid were going to win. I think on 2 levels, this is really encouraging. Obviously, you've got to get the deal over the line. But I think that the really encouraging thing for me... Sorry, there was a bit of a volume problem there. I've just whacked it up a little bit for you. It keeps messing up. Does anyone else have that problem? I'm ready for FIFA, you know. I'm ready to get angry. Why does it keep doing that? Does anyone else have that problem with their computer? You turn it on one day and then the next day it knocks it down. I haven't turned it down. Did I say you can turn it down? Oh, FIFA's going to be good later. But look, yeah, I think in relation to Anselmino, it sends 2 messages to me if we can do this. One, we don't really get anybody in from South America, so it would be great to get into that market because Ten Hag, when he first came in, wanted Manchester United to get into that South American market like Ajax do. We've never been that good at it. And 2, it's a massive feather in the cap of Ineos to come into the club and start recruiting really good, well-scouted young players. So keep a watching brief on Anselmino. If we bought him, he ain't going to go straight in the Man United team next season, by the way. He's only 18 years old. I would imagine we would bring him in. I wouldn't be surprised if we did something creative like Todibo comes to us from Nice and we give them Anselmino for a year on loan. I wouldn't be surprised if we started doing that sort of stuff. I think there's a really interesting opportunity that Man City are doing with Girona and other clubs. And I think Man United can do it with Nice, whereby look, Nice are a top 5 French league team. If we can use them and they can use us as a way for us to put some players there and vice versa, then I think it's a really interesting opportunity. But look, the reports out of Argentina are that AC Milan and Man United are leading the race for him. And I suppose we'll have to wait and see. I mean, there's talk of 17 million quid, 15 to 17 million quid, which is a lot of money. But we've got to start getting into those markets because, all right, he might not be ready for next season, but he might be ready the season after. I mean, you look at how Saliba was nurtured by Arsenal. He was floating around on loan for a couple of years before he got into the team. And that's what future planning is all about. So hopefully we're going to do this with other players. Of course, Real Madrid are a threat. Of course, AC Milan are a threat. Inter Milan, Barcelona. The Spanish and the Italian teams have been very good at recruiting from South America for many years, and they normally do win the race. They've got the scouts there, they've got the relationships there, but we've got to start breaking into those relationships. I'd be very interested to see if we can get this deal over the line and if these reports from Argentina are actually true and verified, because I think it'd be a really, really good signing for Manchester United, and hopefully the first of many, because we pride ourselves in the likes of Kobe Mainoo, and we pride ourselves in the likes of players coming through our youth setup, but we also have a rich tapestry of bringing in young players from not our youth setup that we still nurture. If you look at someone like Cristiano Ronaldo, we brought him in as a teenager from Sporting Lisbon and turned him into a superstar. So I think these are the sort of signings that we want to be doing as well. So really interested to see how that will pan out. Also, just moving it on, obviously I know Beth, well, there's two things I need to pick up on from what Beth was saying this morning, actually. I don't know how many coffees she had this morning, but she was way too on it in relation to gobbing off about things I'd never said about Ivan Toney. God, people are always trying to bring Goldbridge in for point scoring, aren't they? I'll talk about that in a moment, but the Gary O'Neill story sort of broke last night that Man United are looking at Gary O'Neill to come in as a coach. Del Boy says we need a Mark and Gary Neville interview. Mate, anytime he wants it, I'll do it. But I think I'm like something on his shoe, really. I think that's how he sort of views us. So I don't think it'll ever happen. But anytime, happy to do it. But look, back to the show. The Gary O'Neill story. My thoughts on Gary O'Neill are that if he was coming in as a coach for Manchester United to work under Erik ten Hag, I would probably say yes. I think he's a very innovative and exciting coach, and I would welcome him at Manchester United in a coaching capacity, because you're looking at best in class. My issue with it is, one, why would you go from Bournemouth manager to Wolves manager to Man United assistant manager? I just don't see how he would do that. And second of all, I don't really think that he would be a coach that would be any... Look, it's disrespectful. Gary O'Neill is not a Manchester United manager, if that's what we're talking about here. I mean, look, I know Ineos probably have decided just not to react to everything, but it's bloody embarrassing that Fabrizio and other journalists are saying the reason Man United are being linked to Southgate and Potter is because Ineos admire them. Well, you know, if I was Ineos, that's just bad. That's bad. It's really bad knowledge of football to admire Gareth Southgate. It's a really niche bad take. It really is. You know, it's absolutely terrible. It's like being down the pub with your mates and everyone's ordering a pint or a glass of wine and you go up and say, I'll have a Malibu and Coke. There's nothing wrong with having a Malibu and Coke. There's nothing wrong with having a Malibu and Coke, and the connotations with it, I think, are wrong. But if you go and order a Malibu and Coke with your mates, you're going to get the piss taken out of you, because it's very niche and it's not very popular. So Manchester United linking themselves to Southgate because they admire him, he's crap. He's absolutely crap. I mean, what manager gets linked to the Man United job? You know, he's got an opportunity. He gets linked to the Man United job. You're at home against Brazil and Belgium. Beat both of those and, you know, people might start talking about you even more, and he bottles it. That's typical of Southgate. So absolutely not. I think it's really disrespectful. I think I tweeted this morning. You know, we beat Liverpool nearly 2 weeks ago. Well, a week and a half ago, we beat Liverpool. We beat Liverpool in the FA Cup. Our record since January is very good. Our record is very good. And yet, every bloody day, there's another manager coming in the press to be linked to our manager's job. The players are behind Ten Hag. The fans are behind Ten Hag. We want continuity. We want to clear out. We want stability. And the press just won't have it. You know, I look at Eddie Howe and Pochettino, and they must be sat there every morning ecstatic that they've had worse seasons than Man United and get zero pressure from the press. They've been piling onto Ten Hag from day one. Every bloody day it's a new coach. I mean, the obvious story is Newcastle. That's the obvious story. You know, they've got all the money. They're failing. Eddie Howe really isn't a top-level coach. they should be talking about Jose Mourinho to Newcastle. No. Let's talk about Man United. Hated, adored, never ignored. But look, Gary O'Neill's not a Man United manager. I'd take Gary O'Neill over Potter and Southgate, but he's not a Man United manager. So, look, if he's coming in as a coach, very, very interesting. But nah, I mean, it's just, the level of coaches that we're being linked with is just depressing. Makes me even more determined that Ten Hag will stay. Now, I want to bring this in. I've got absolutely no idea how good this source is, but I do want to drop it in there because it's a nice little discussion point. Obviously, Man United have had major problems with injury. I'm going to talk about Toney in a minute. Someone said they like the Easter eggs from other shows to this. We'll bring more of those in. But obviously, the Malacia injury is a season ender. Gareth Southgate was talking about Luke Shaw, saying that it's very tight that he'll be back before the end of the season, and how likely is it he's going to play 7 games in a month. I mean, you've got to bring in here. Look, I get the fact, club over country, country over club. Martinez would be the same. We love Martinez. Bruno would be the same. We love Bruno. Casemiro would be the same. We love Casemiro. Luke Shaw is going to want to play for his country. Of course, doing that jeopardises his fitness for next season for Man United. Obviously, if he can't get back for the FA Cup final, which hopefully we will be in, then he shouldn't be going with England. You know, he's not played hardly at all in 2024. But players put country before club, and he may well do that. The bigger picture is Man United are looking to revolutionise their physio department. Now, what I've been told today, and I will shout that source out if it's proven correct, they'll know who they are, is that Manchester United are in discussions with the head physio department, whatever you call it, at a top 6 club from Manchester. We'll have to wait and see what happens with that, because it could be bollocks. It could be another swoop coming in from Manchester United, from another big club, taking somebody that we want, which I think we'll all applaud it. If it happens, we will all applaud it. If we can go and pick off best in class, I don't care whether it's from Swindon, City, or Stockport. It doesn't matter. Keep an eye on that one. There might be something in it, but there we go. Also, let's talk about Ivan Toney then. Apparently, there's a tweet coming out from Fabrizio Romano. I'm just going to check that now. But there has been an update from Ben Jacobs. There's nothing coming out from Fabrizio apart from Tony Cruz at the moment. Lavia is out for the season as well, which is incredible. It's a bit like the Malacia thing. So read between. Wolf says, "So who is he?" I gave you enough bloody hints. Let's see if it happens. Because if it happens, remember where you exclusively heard this, because we do get information. Just on centre-backs, by the way, I saw Ben Jacobs today talking about Branthwaite and Todibo. Obviously, the hit list is back tonight. If you don't know what the list is, the hit list, it's our Hotometer. It's our transfer show. We'll be updating that and talking about that on the 8 o'clock show tonight, so don't miss it. It was 2 o'clock last week. But we're comfortable. We're comfortable. Ben Jacobs obviously has his own sources, but it's interesting. Todibo and Branthwaite are the 2 centre-back targets. We know this. Let's wait and see whether we can get those deals over the line. I think in relation to Todibo, it's an open goal because we own Nice. I think in relation to Branthwaite, very disappointing that Southgate didn't give him any game time. Really disappointing. Why you play Dunk against bloody Belgium when you can give Branthwaite a debut, I will never understand. But in a way, it might have helped us, because if he'd have played and played well, then the interest and price probably goes up. So Branthwaite's still a big consideration for Manchester United. Of course he is. Mark says, "Hi Mark, the only way the disrespect will end is if Ineos just gives Ten Hag a 2-year extension on his current deal." Well, I wish they would. I'd love that. I'd love that, to be honest. I'd love that. Actually, absolutely love that. Let me just talk to you about Ivan Toney, by the way. I seen a tweet. I saw a clip. I saw the show where Beth was talking about Ivan Toney because she really wants Man United to sign him, which is fine. I'm sure many of you feel the same. And basically the tone of it was, "Sit down, Goldbridge. You look so good last night." And I felt like going, I'm already sat down, Beth, because I'm sat at my laptop watching the show. So I'm already sat down. And you know what? Listen to what I say. Don't preach nonsense, right? What I said about Ivan Toney the other night when Romano linked us to him was, he's a really good striker. He does link up the play. He does score goals. And he's very, very good in the air. And there's a very interesting profile of striker there. And I thought he did well for England last night as well. What I said was, I just have a hunch it's a bad idea for Manchester United. He's a good striker, but I have a hunch he's not the right player for Man United. Why? I think he'd be a Rasmus killer. And what I mean by that is, you bring Ivan Toney in, I saw it last night, I see it for Brentford, he wants to be the main man. He's one of those arrogant, selfish strikers that I like. I like an arrogant, selfish striker. I think Rasmus has got some arrogance to him. I think every striker's got to have it. Shearer had it. Henry had it. Rooney had it. Arrogance and selfishness in a striker is absolutely fine. But I detect from Toney that if you bring him in and say, Rasmus is that guy, you're the backup, I don't think this works. I don't think this works. So I think anybody who wants Ivan Toney, you've basically got to say, Rasmus is done at United, because Toney ain't going to be a sit-on-the-bench striker. He's going to want to be the main man. I saw it with England last night. He's not doing, he wants to be ahead of Watkins. Obviously, he knows he's not going to get Kane's place, but he wants to be above Watkins. That's what he wants to be. And, maybe he is. But for Manchester United, I don't think that's the sort of striker I want. I don't want a main guy. And if I want a main guy, I want Osman. I don't want Toney. But we don't need a main guy. It would be like buying a world-class number 8. What about Kobe Mainoo? Or a world-class winger? What about Garnacho? I don't believe that we need to bring in players to bench Rasmus, Garnacho or Mainoo. So, look, Ivan Toney's a very interesting striker and he's a very good player. But for me, I just don't get a good feeling about Man United going in for him. Doesn't mean we won't. Doesn't mean it won't be a success. But, I never said he wasn't a good player. I just said for me, I don't get the feeling that I want United to sign him. I really don't. I think there's more interesting players out there. I knew you would be back, Goldie. I love career mode. Get the F in, says Jay. Oh, I can't wait, mate. Really looking forward to it. 2:45, 25 minutes to go. Anyway, what else did I want to talk to you about? Spoke to you about that. Want to talk about Kobe Mainoo. I mean, look, this is interesting. Manchester United are apparently ready to negotiate a new deal with Kobe Mainoo. He actually signed a new deal last year. His contract goes to 2028, but I would imagine the wages are crap. I don't know what they are. If anybody does, let us know in the chat. But I would imagine the wages for Kobe are pretty low because that contract was signed a year ago before he'd broken into the first team. So you could be talking, 20, 30 grand a week. I don't think it'll be, bloody hell, we gave Brandon Williams 50 grand a week. So I don't think it'll be very much. Look, United should do this sort of thing. A young player breaks into the first team, give him a pay rise. There's no issue with that at all. And it's in our interest to do it, of course, because you don't want an unhappy player and you want to reward a player. So if he's on 20, 30 grand a year till 2028, I'd call him into the office and I'd go, look, really, really happy with what you're doing. Want you to keep doing it. Want you to keep your feet on the ground. Want you to become a better player. We're the club for you to do that. We didn't need to do this now, but we want to reward people like yourself. There's 80 grand a year. Let's go. Simple as that. Alex says it's apparently 10k a week. Yeah. So yeah, just give him a pay rise. I don't think we're in a rush to do it, by the way. I don't think it's like get him in the office tomorrow, but I think over the next few months, get him in the office, give him a decent wage. You don't have to give him 300 grand a week. That hopefully can come, but I think it's clever. I think it's really clever because if you take him from 10k to 80k and then you go, look, let's see what happens in a year time, we'll knock it up again. So yeah, I think it's a really intelligent thing for Manchester United to be doing that. And I don't genuinely think anybody's going to really have any problems with that. But it is worth saying that he is already, the most important thing with Mainoo is there's no end of contract coming up in a while. That's not about to happen at all. Other bits I wanted to bring into the show. Well, I'm really looking forward to the 8 o'clock show tonight because, of course, it is the hit list. Is that what I called it? No, it's called the list, the hit list. What are you talking about? I'm gonna the list. That's what we're gonna do. Interestingly enough, wanted to say about the manager stuff. It's Mark Ogden again with Gary O'Neill, and it was Mark Ogden last week with Southgate. So, is there a theme developing there? I think there is a theme developing there, and I think it's called the media. That's what it is. I think there is a media run there, but obviously we're getting really close to. we're getting really close at Manchester United towards the return of action, aren't we? I mean, tomorrow I've got a bloody preview. I can't wait. What a week it's going to be. You talk about Ivan Toney, Brentford away, Saturday night. You know, we need to win that, but it's nervy. You've also got Chelsea away after that, and then we've got Liverpool at home. There's not going to be anywhere to hide. I mean, the interesting thing about the international break is it's a time to reflect. You start thinking about transfers, etc. But these next 3 games are absolutely ice games, thin ice games. Like, they are really tough. And I'm interested to know when Kobe Mainoo, when Casemiro's back, when Martinez is back. These 2 players are absolutely massive for us over the next week. Is Southgate the McTominay of managers, says Anthony? No, I think McTominay's a better manager than Southgate if he was a manager. We could get Joe Bellingham and he can switch Casemiro, says H. Carty. I think Joe Bellingham is an interesting player to keep an eye on. I think there'll be a lot of people looking at him. Look, Will was training with him the other day when we did some content with That's Football about it, and I was saying to him, do you genuinely think he can replicate anything like his brother? And he said, look, it's weird. It's really weird that you can have 2 people from the same family. Brilliant. I mean, obviously we've had 2, so Bobby Charlton. Obviously his brother didn't play for Man United. Gary Neville and Phil Neville were both fullbacks. But with Bellingham and his brother, I mean, you know, Jude Bellingham's a world beater. You know, if his brother can get anywhere near that in the midfield as well, I mean, imagine. So look, I don't know. I know United have been scouting him, and I'd love United to sign him. The question is, you don't want to make a mistake on the name. You want to buy a player on the ability. He does look very interesting. He does look very interesting, certainly. And I'd love United to make that sort of a deal, definitely. Plus, competing for places only makes the players better. Look at City and the players they leave out of the playing 11, says Manero. He's obviously talking about something there. All the worst ever manager in the world football are better than Southgate, says Sal. And I'm really impressed by Mainoo. The England midfield looks good with Mainoo, Rice and Bellingham, says Mozen. I tell you what, that was a great point, actually. I'm glad, Mozen, big shout out to you, one of our members. Get your badge in. Great point about Mainoo yesterday. Wouldn't have brought it in if that comment had been said. I think yesterday is exactly what I'm talking about Mainoo. I really think that if you think about everything that Mainoo does, what is the thing that always stands out? Because he's good at tackling, he's good at passing, but it's his carrying, it's his dribbling, it's his close ball control. That's always the thing. The first goal for England comes from the fact that he breaks the line. Not many teams do this. I've been on about this for ages. I like this evolution of football. So many teams these days will refuse to take people on because they want to pass between the lines. But if you play football or whatever it is you do, if you're up against 2 banks of 4 and you're trying to pass through the lanes, it's difficult. That's what teams try to do. But if you take on the player marking you, you're in space. Someone's got to come to you, which means that someone else comes into space. And that's what Mainoo does really well. He moves past players, which then creates space and breaks the structure of the opposition. The best place for him to do that is the number 8 position, and that's where he was doing it for England last night. You've got Declan Rice deep, you've got Mainoo supporting him, and you've got Bellingham ahead of him. This is where I believe Mainoo is a number 8, because I see his best attribute is actually breaking through the lines. And when you break through the lines high up the pitch, space appears for everybody else. It'd be a massive thing for the likes of Rashford and Bruno and Rasmus. So I think United desperately need to be bringing in a 6. You know, I know we've got Casemiro, but we need a 6. I don't like that Mainoo is the Casemiro replacement. I want Mainoo to be the 8 because I think we're going to get the best. He can do the 6 and maybe he will be a 6. But I just think as an 8, he's got more license to dribble and he's one of the few players in the game at the moment that dribbles past people, and it's a great asset for us to have. Most Ten Hag outers have been influenced directly and indirectly by the media and opposition fans. There, I've said it, Eric Ten Hag must stay under Ineos, says Mario Franco. Thank you very much for that. Well, look, I've got to go and prep for quarter to 2, quarter to 3. FIFA career mode is back. Goldbridge ball is back. Guess who I'm playing first game of the season as well? Fucking Liverpool. It's going to be a right opening start to the season. Live in about 15 minutes time. Back live at here at 8 o'clock with the list. Our weekly, well, it's weekly at the moment, look at United's top targets and transfers, plus all the topical news. Join me tonight at 8 o'clock for that. Join me on the Goldbridge channel for a bit of FIFA if you're at a loose end or you just want some entertainment. I'll see you over there in a few minutes. Smash the like and subscribe. Speak to you in a bit.